Hello everyone, it's Key of W as always. I'd like to take this moment to thank my followers who attended my 13th birthday party last week. It was very fun. Glad you guys could all come out. Okay, where'd you go? Yeah, the maze is in the way, so that's fun. We're just gonna go around from this side. I'm not playing around there. Anyway, thanks y'all for coming. And maybe next week when I have my 14th birthday party, we can have a good time then too. So I think today, since I'm reloading this, and I happen to be near the Myopia puzzles, we'll see what's been reloaded. Okay, a couple of these I've already done, apparently, but I haven't done them all, so let's restart these. So definitely these have to be white cells. Don't mix squares, connect dark cells, no 4 in a row, no checkerboards. Alright, a lot of rules here. Those have to be white, those have to be white. That's got to be white, those have to be white. That has to be a dark cell. Dark cells all have to be connected too, so these have to come out, and we can't have 4 in a row, so we do have to do this. Any checkerboards I'm in danger of doing? I don't know why that rule is here. There must be a moment when I'm going to be in danger of making a checkerboard. It's probably... Oh, no, this has to be all 4. This is where the danger is. Because if I put a white cell in any of these spots, I would make a checkerboard. So I have to make these all dark cells, which means these have to be light cells because we can't have 4 in a row of dark cells. Sure. It's probably going to go through here. That's probably also going to go through here. Also, these have to be dark cells, because otherwise there's no dark cell this one's pointing to. Which means that is... there's got to be something in here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4... So there has to be a dark cell in here somewhere, which means this one has to be a dark cell. This one could be a light cell, but if so, this would be the only place to put the dark cell. So that's always possible. This would make it much easier. We'll have to see. Now, if there's a dark cell here, the trouble now is that there can't be one here. So we would have to bring this around like so. But now, how do I reach... the only way would be this. This would be the only possible way I could reach all the way up here. And then we would have to do it this way. Okay, so yeah, I thought this would be wrong, so I know these have to be light cells, which means this has to be a light cell as well, because if that was a dark cell, we'd have trouble. So we do have to do this passageway, which means this upper left corner is the connecting point. And we have to have a dark cell here. Is there any reason... Yeah, no white squares. Oh, no white squares means I should keep these in mind. I keep forgetting about that rule. So far, so... Okay, that is true. Alright. I should have remembered this rule. I was getting, like, really stuck, because I was like, where do I put the dark cells? Well, anywhere I see a potential square. Interesting. I realize it's been a while since I've done these. Well, I did them in the last episode, I think, but it's always good to remind people, my hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers, how the myopia arrows work. So these are going to point to a cell of the opposite color. And because they point to the opposite cells, the opposite color, the closest cells. For instance, if this was a white cell, we would automatically lose because there's not going to be a cell of the opposite color. So those have to be dark cells. These have to be light cells because if it was a dark cell, the closest color would not be pointed to. So there's some quick things I can do. That's why I'm quickly filling in the cells behind and to the side of the arrows, because they cannot be the opposite color or it's an automatic failure. This has to be a dark cell. If dark regions of area 2, then we can fill this in as well. This will have to be light because the corner rule. These all have to be dark. Let's see. This will have to be a light cell no matter what, which means that is also a light cell. Let's see. If this is a dark cell, we're fine. Automatically. We don't have to worry about anything else. Oh, we also can't make white squares? Didn't really, like, check in on that. So we don't want a white square there. We're not going to want a white square here. Or there. And we're done. That's a cool little puzzle. No dominoes, no white squares, connect all light cells. So these all have to be light cells. The reasoning being, if we make this a dark cell, all of these also have to be dark cells. We're not connecting all light cells. So that's done there. No squares means all of these have to be dark cells, and because we don't want any dominoes, we have to do it this way. Now we can't have this be a dark cell either, because then all of these would be trapping them in. But now we have to make these dark cells in order to prevent us from having no dark cells at all. So where do we go from here? We don't want squares or dominoes. Now I think we can just do it by filling in these, oops, like little corner bits, and the puzzle will solve itself. Just very symmetrical. The other thing to remind my hordes of beautiful followers is that this set of puzzles that's here, these Myopia Arrow puzzles, there's a couple other places in the game with sets like this that are not considered part of the hub world. They are their own set of puzzles, but they're not static puzzles. So every time I load the game, these puzzles reload. And there's about 100 or so from the set. And they're pulled randomly. So every time I play the game, doesn't matter how long it's been, this has to be dark cell because it's the only thing it's pointed to. Every time I load it. So I could finish this, close the game, reopen it immediately. There'll be another set of puzzles here. Whereas the hub puzzles reload and unload after timed intervals. So this would mean, yeah, it'd be fine. Just looking for anything else that's going to help me out. Connecting all light cells is going to help me somewhere along the line. Well, if this were a light cell, we would have to... Yeah. That's not going to happen. So this does have to be a dark cell. This also has to be a dark cell because otherwise it's not the closest thing it's pointed to. Anyway, since these aren't hub puzzles, I have to remember to come take care of them as a special set rather than just as part of the Serene Deluge world. Let's see. This has to be a dark cell, otherwise it's not pointing to the closest one. Let's see. This then has to be a dark cell, or this isn't pointing to the closest one. This same reasoning. Now these have to be dark for the same reason. These can't both be dark because we won't be connecting all light cells that way, which means, oh boy, we're going to have dark cells. These can't be either, so it has to be this far away. This has to be that far away. Oops. That's got to be light cell because it wants to be point to the closest thing. That's got to be dark, and then these have to be dark. So yeah, I always want to remember to come here to clear these puzzles out, and since they're randomly loaded from the set of 100 or so, eventually I'm going to have days where only like 1 or 2 of them are going to be brand new, and the rest are going to be already solved. So as long as I remember to come here every time, eventually I'll clear them out. Myopia Arrow's point. Well, this is going to make it interesting. Well, this has got to be light, because the closest cell has to be this, because that's light as well. These all have to be dark. Fine. Now, if this is dark... this has to be dark. It's the only way around this, which means that's dark as well. So is that. Because, yeah. That's going to be light, because it's the only way to do this. The tetromino shape makes this a little trickier, because counting the amount of spaces is harder, but it's not too bad. This has to be dark, I believe. Yeah, light would automatically lose. Which means this is light, and this is dark. No, that's light. That's light. It's got to be light because it's got to point to the closest thing. This then needs to be light when you have a dark cellar. That's weird. It's not like hard, but it's just tricky to remember kind of the order of things. Alright, we know these are going to be light cells. Now we don't want to make 4 in a row of white, and we want to connect all white cells. Alright, that's going to be fun. So we definitely have to do this. Which means then that there has to be a dark cell here and a light cell there. No 4 in a row. Oops, in either case. So now this has to be a dark cell to avoid having this be the closest one. Any other 3s? There's 3s here we want to watch out for. That's got to be a dark cell. That's got to be here. So now we do have to bring the light cells through here. That all of them for now? Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I could solve every day. So if somehow you got really lucky with loading, well, not every day, it's every time you load the game. If I got really lucky and never had any repeats, it would take 13 days or 13 loads of the game to clear this out at minimum. Alrighty, my absolute favorite, phasic dials. I feel like, where's the one I'm going to do last? This one? Maybe this one's last. Let's get this into place. Let's get the blue back. Blue's going to go... the only way to get blue back into place is to hit these. So... yellow and green on its own isn't going to happen. Yellow and blue... This will eventually get these back, so now just green. But it's not in parity, so I need the green... No. I need this. Oh, no, that's not right either, because now the blue is not in parity. There we go. Yeah, phasic dials are not the worst. They just... Once you've done like about 5 or 10 of them, you're kind of done with phasic dials. You've kind of seen all that you can see with that puzzle. Maybe there's a way to make them more interesting than they are, but I don't know that way offhand. Alright, where are you? I hear you. I hear the cube. Is it under somewhere? There. Alright, other puzzles that are parts of sets. So myopia arrows are here. The other part of the set is here, where the congruency puzzles are. That are semi-randomized, pulling from a list of about 100 random puzzles, but not like the hub puzzles, which, you know, load and unload after preset times. Like with this hub puzzle, for, you know, those of you who have forgotten, because, you know, this is episode 5 billion or something, this puzzle here exists, and in a few hours the game will unload it. I don't remember if it's a few hours of actual game time or just a few hours real time. The game unloads this puzzle. But there's another matchbox somewhere that will load in. They won't like unload and reload at the exact same time, I don't think, but they're going to be like popping in and out of the world. I am too far this way. I need to go south, I think. That's how hub puzzles generally work. Whereas the Myopia Arrow, Congruency ones, and then there's some logic grids in Lucent Waters, those are instead part of a random set that load every time you start the game. And those ones just, instead of on a timer, those ones just, every time you open the game up, here's a new set of puzzles. Okay. Not too bad. Which means it's a little easier to clear out these sets. Oh, this one loaded only one new set. Oh, two new sets. Okay, two new puzzles. It's a little easier to clear out because you can just reload the game until you get what you want. Exactly one symbol per dark area. No dark areas of the same shape or size. Great. That means this is a event. Now I need to hit all of my potential things. Well, this can't be the O piece for sure. This can't be the O piece. So where's the I? The I could be here. The I could be there. I feel like the I piece is here. I could make... If I go up here, we're in trouble. So this isn't going to happen. This is your Z piece. Let's make L, maybe? O piece? There's no way this goes in. So that for sure is out. That means this has to go here. We have to bring it out. We either bring it out here or there. Either way, that's a light square cell. This has to come out, which means it can't go there. It has to go up at least one. So it looks like our T piece might be here. It could also be this one. We're looking for... Best spot, I think, for the I is here. The T is there, the L is there, and the O is there. Anyway, if I just were to unload and reload this game, just turn it off, turn it back on, I'd eventually just get rid of these, whereas the hub puzzles take forever to do. I feel like I've said this 40 times this episode, but I keep interrupting myself. Okay. So one symbol per dark area. All dark areas have the same shape and size. Okay. Got to figure out what that shape is going to be. And they cannot be touching. Is it just going to be squares? I think it's just going to be the O shape. Like this. That's a 2-star puzzle? Are you kidding me? Alright, that's all I have of these. But I can do... Hold on, I'm going to do this puzzle since it's right here. And now we have this title that's annoying me because it comes up like that. I have to wait for it to go away. But if I don't wait for it to go away, then if I use the in-game menu to make it disappear, I lose my shape, my sightseer here. So it is like a place where two rivers converge. Is it this direction? Can I see it on the map? Maybe it's over here. No, it looks like it would be up here somewhere. Yeah, I looked at the map, so it's gone. Dang it. Anything else I'm looking at in this world that might help me out with this? I really don't see much else. Oh, I do see at the right side of the image a little bit of red, which suggests it's one of these buildings. So I actually want to look this direction and look for a rock shape like that. But it's probably not going to be this part of the river. It's going to be more this... Oh, it might actually be this rock here. There. Yeah, it's a little annoying. If I pull this sightseer out like this, if I open the map, I lose it. So I have to just be careful. This is definitely looking down into the hole. Oh, just... I think let me, instead of trying to arrange myself based on the rocks at the bottom of the screen, let me arrange myself based on this. Yeah. Anyway, that's the trouble with the sightseers, is if you open the map like this, you just lose them. They disappear. But opening the map is a great way to get rid of the subtitle or the title that appears on your screen that sits there for 10 seconds. How about these? Is this also... No, we have two separate flow orbs here. Oh, I heard ya, but no. Okay, let's try grabbing this one. Oh, over the top. Uh-oh. Then running... Okay, this is going to be a bad time. Oh, it's a gold time, so I'll take it. And then there's one down here. I'll also take this one, which looks like it is... We've got to literally hop up. Maybe not. Maybe this is the same idea. Down. Oh, it's here. But I got that one too, and I'm going to just take the time. Oh, I have the movement puzzles here. Mirabilis, which I don't need. So, we had the congruency puzzles, we had the myopia puzzles. The other place with puzzles that load in every time you start the game is up here, the Lucent Waters, somewhere back here. We've been there a few times. The thing about this area, oh here, is that for some reason there are two sets of random puzzles that it's pulling from rather than one. I don't know what the difference between them is. I think what it is over here is an underclued set. Oh dear me. Is that right? Yeah, we have underclued, which I really don't like. At least there's only 3 tiles, so you can sort of brute force it if you don't really want it. All dark regions have area 4. Well, if we did this... Well, if we ever decide where the white one goes, we're going to end up with way more than this, so we can't ever decide where the white one is. Feels like we have to do something like that. Well, let's see. If we had... We would have to have a white cell there and there. So I wonder if it is white cells like here? No, because what if that's... If all dark regions have area 4... Well, it can't be these two, that's for sure. These two both can't be dark, because if so, this 2 is nowhere to go. So that means that these both have to be dark, because it has to be one of these two. Which means... what do I get from that? That has to be light? No. One of these is dark, and the other one... Oh, that one's got to be light, I guess. Okay, that's what we know. Sure. Yeah, see, underclued grids is really not that much fun. I'm gonna see how much of these I can clear out, though, so they're out of my way. Underclued grid, all dark regions have area 2. Well, we know this is going to be an elbow, then. Because this is going to make a problem. So will that. So I feel like this is the elbow we make. So that we can do... no. So that's not the elbow. Is the elbow instead facing this way? This is not possible either. It could... No, this is going to be a problem. It could be facing up. No. Feels like this, actually. No. I'm looking for the facing. Maybe this is it. Yeah, this is the only way this can face, so that we don't have a problem here. Yeah, that's what we have to do. That one actually felt kind of like a puzzle, which is good. We also have this 5-star one here. How much fun do you think this is going to be? 14 tiles remaining, connect all dark and all light cells. No squares, so we know we're going to have to start with this. Those two are guaranteed. So if we're just marking what's definitely true, no matter what. Now, if this is a dark cell, all of these are light cells. And we have dark cells here. So yeah, the rule with the connect all dark and light cells is on the outer edge, you can't have a switch happen. You can't switch more than once. So we have light going around this edge. If we have it dark here and then we have light here, we can never have another dark cell that's not connected to this one directly on the edge. So that would mean all of these are light. But I don't know if we can guarantee any of these cells being dark at all. I mean, honestly, if there's a dark cell in here, it has to come out this way, and then all of these would be light. What would this mean? I don't know. I'm trying to look at what these other cells would be. There has to be... Like, it's going to be a kind of a spiral, but I just don't know where it's going to be. So are we just looking at corners? We can't make squares, though. So how would this spiral go? Maybe if you had something like... no, you'd end up with a square that way. If we were to fill... I'm just going to see if there's any solution to this. We fill this kind of thing in. Yeah, we're looking for a way to not... Because it's an even amount here, so spiraling is actually quite difficult to do. This would solve it. Is there another way, like... What if instead it went... No. This would also solve it. So what's the same between them? Are we talking like these are all filled? I don't know. I think the puzzle would want us to look at the edge pieces and see where the dark cells are going to go. But I can do it. Like, I solved this version. Or, sorry, I think I solved this way. Hitting dark cells into here. But the other version did not put dark cells into there. This one... Wait, is it this? No, it was... What did I do here? I did something here. Let's also look. There's got to be one in one of these two. So is it possible to make this a light cell? Yes. But if I do this, then there has to be one in at least one of these. And it can't... If it wasn't this one, we would have an issue, probably. Where, hold on, now all of these are white. Yeah, there's no way to connect them. So this, I believe, has to be a dark cell, right? Because if it's light cell, we just have a problem here. So that's dark. One of these has to be dark. One of these has to be dark. One of these two. Could I do it this way? Maybe. I don't know. Hold on. I don't even know if this is correct. One of these two is going to be dark. The best chance to have dark cells is on the side is here. Because let's say I did it here. How would I then do this without breaking it? So I think this is where this is. This is really uninteresting to me. Like, I just don't find the underclued grids interesting. We've done some of these, and when they get this difficult, what ends up happening is I'm just flailing around. There's none of this like, oh, I've made this logical inference. Look at this part. This is obviously intended to reference this thing, and here's the logical step we make. It's more like, let me try 500 things and see what sticks. And because there's 11 tiles, I can't just brute force anything. I can use the foresight again like I did in the pyramid with these horrible puzzles. I'm going to give this a couple more minutes before I start doing that, because these really are genuinely not interesting puzzles. They just, it feels like the type of puzzle a person sets when they go like, ha, this one will get them. The type of person who takes glee in designing things that are just really obtuse and uninteresting, and then they like fall back on that it's just a hard puzzle, and if you were really good at puzzles you'd do it, rather than going, oh, I'm not good at designing these, I should take, you know, hints from people who are. Because this is just like, great. It's like when you see a big empty grid and there's only one piece and somehow that tells you all the information you need to know. It's like, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in a puzzle that gives me steps I can take logically to solve it, rather than there's one solution I have to magically intuit by trying 500 of them that don't work. Not interesting. So not interesting. I still can't see what I'm doing with this one. I think this is correct, but I'm going to take... Nope. That one can be white. There's a way to make that one white. Jeez. Stupid fucking puzzle. Yeah. Alright, tell me what to look. Look at this tile. Okay, I'm looking at it. What if it's black? What happens then? This is what happens. Okay. So if this tile here has to be black, then all of these others have to be filled in, and that would be the end of it. But no. So I think that's the clue there, which means it has to be a white tile. So is that the puzzle? Like, I just look at this and say, if this is a black tile, then the remaining tiles are too much. Like, I'm supposed to look at that. I hate that so much. Like, if this is a black tile, these all end up being filled in, and that's not it. So no. So this is going to be the same thing. Okay. So do we have that? Yep. Okay, so it is supposed to be just put white on the outside. And now if there's black somewhere on one of these... Well, let's try again. If this is dark cell, these are light cells. This doesn't solve it anymore. Up here, however, would. So I think these both have to be light. And we'll check. Yep. Now look at this tile. Okay, we're down to this part. If this is white... I don't know. If this is a dark cell, we know that this is happening. And... we wouldn't know what else to do.
If it's a white tile, what does that say? Doesn't say anything. If this is a white tile, it forces this to be a dark tile. And it said we don't want to color this one in, which means that we're not going to color that one in white. So we're just going to check it. Thank you. What if it really is this? Yeah. It can't be white here because otherwise. Yeah. And so now this is the tile we look at. I really hate this puzzle. Like I'm not enjoying this one at all. So all I have to do is brute force it. That's got to be, like, I'm supposed to figure this out from the puzzle. It's just, that's not what I want to do when I solve these. I want to solve a puzzle. I don't want to look at, like, well, in all of your possible solutions, what are the tiles that are black and white? Not interesting. Oh, here we go, another one. Connect dark cells. Don't make this. So that means we have to go through, like, here. So I need to get 3 more from this? Well, if this were to move here, it would go around, but we wouldn't be able to connect here? Yeah, we would be able to connect here. We'd be able to connect to this one and then here. Is there a world where that's a light cell? Yeah. Like, do we have to fill in something? Like, this is a possible way to do it, right? Also, this is a possible way to do it. Is there any way that this is a light cell? Yeah. Any way that that's a light cell? Yes. Anyway, this is a light cell? Yeah, totally is. So maybe I'm looking for things that have to be light cells. I can go up. I can go up and out. I can go down or around. I can go this way or that way. Well, is there any way this is a dark cell? Because, no, I would have to connect things. So I think that's a light cell. I think that's a light cell. Alright, now what? That. Looking for the spot that has to be a light cell, but there isn't. Doesn't seem to be one. That's a dark cell. I guess that has to be the dark cell. So again, it's just not interesting. Alright, let's do an interesting one. Let's do an interesting one before I want to bash my head against a wall. How about this one here? This will be a real logic puzzle. Yeah, this is a real logic grid. No squares and none of this pattern. None of this pattern. Well, we'll stop the 4 in a row for sure. Stop a 4 in a row here. Stop a 4 in a row there. So we can't make whatever this sandwich pattern is. So this has to be a dark cell as well. We can't make squares. Can't make squares. We don't want to make the sandwich pattern, so that's got to be a dark cell. No 4 in a row means we have to do this one here. No sandwich pattern means this has to be a dark cell. Let's see. No squares. No sandwich pattern. What else do we have here? Either of those is fine. No sandwich pattern means we have to have a white cell there. Yeah, no sandwich pattern also means white cell here. No sandwich pattern. It's harder for me to see. There's so many blocked patterns that going through the list is exhausting. That's got to be a light cell. This has to be a light cell as well, but that has to be a dark cell. No sandwiches, no sandwiches, no sandwiches, no sandwiches. What would I put here? Oh, no 4 in a row, which means no sandwiches, no 4 in a row. No 4 in a row. Either one is fine there. No sandwiches, no sandwiches, no sandwiches. No 4 in a row. No sandwiches. No sandwiches, etc. I think we kind of are stuck with a spiral in this case here. No, oh, yeah, we got to do it here as well. And there. Okay. No squares. No sandwiches. No 4 in a row. Let's see, no 4 in a row here. No sandwiches means that's white. No sandwiches there. No sandwiches. No sandwiches, no sandwiches. Okay, it's weird. I guess that counts as a puzzle. What? Let's try this. Let's see. We're going to get some good ones here, I promise. So connect dark cells, no squares. That can't possibly connect here. Neither can that. Looks like we've actually got a puzzle here. This will be fun. This can't connect up to the 5, so it has to go down at least one spot. The 8 cannot connect to this 3, so at the most it can be 4 vertically, so it has to go this far horizontally. That's the furthest it can go here. It might go further, but we'll see. This can connect up there, but why? If dark cells connect, okay, we're going to have some fun here. So the 5 has to move down at least one spot because it can't go any further over, which is going to force these moves. It's going to force the 3 down. It's going to force the 8 over another spot. This has to come out. There's your 5. This got to be dark cell. Oh, that has to be dark cell. There's no way that's going anywhere. Alright, so these are set up in this corner. Now what? Dark cells can come out any which way here. So, there's not... Imagining that there's not a dark cell in here anywhere, we're in trouble. So there has to be a dark cell, which means these all have to be dark cells here. There's really nothing we can do about it. And here. So the 8 does in fact have to be this shape. The 3 could be... No squares. No squares. Gotta remind myself of that. No squares. It's a rule I keep forgetting. Of either color. So I'm going to make sure I don't have any squares appearing. Looks like we're good so far. I could block this off. Yeah, I have to block off the white because dark cells need to escape. Which means the 4 has to go at least one space to the left, and this has to be how it works. Okay, we're starting to solve this one. This feels good. No squares of any kind. Means the black cells have to come out this way. No squares will force us to do this. Either one is acceptable there. Let's start looking, I guess, over here. Maybe there's something we can get. The 6 has to move down at least one space. That's all I got. The 13, we have 9. We got 4 more to go of this piece. No squares means at least one of these is white. At least one of those is black. I can't do that, so we can do this. We'll see what we're going to do. The 8, actually the 8 can't even go this way because it's going to block off the dark cells. That's right, we have to escape. So that means the 8, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is what we know of the 8 so far. But there has to be a white cell in here somewhere, which means this has to be a white cell. Does it have to connect to that? No, it doesn't. Actually, could this be? Yeah, since they don't have to, the white cells don't have to connect. It doesn't actually matter. Anyway, this is a white cell? No, because then we would have a square. So that's a dark cell. And we have the 8 finished. That's got to come down, so the 6 has to go down at least this far. Let's see, we can't have a squares. It's going to finish off our 3 for us. The 6 can only, this 6 can only come out so far, so it has to come down this way. That almost finishes off our 13. The dark cells will have to escape through here. That's going to finish off the 13. Any other tips? Oh, this has to escape, so there's how the 6 gets out. This has to escape. No squares. That's got to escape, so there we go. No squares. That'll block off the dark cells, so that's your escape route here. This has to be a light cell. And that's got to be light. There we are. Done. That felt good. Yeah, a series of logical inferences I can make to solve a puzzle. That's how it should be. How about this one? All dark regions have area 2. Somehow I can get this. Well, if this is a light cell, we're going to have a problem. So we know that these 3s aren't going to connect to each other. Is there any way I could make a 3 like this? It would be fine. But this one, there's no place to stick it such that I don't end up with 3 dark cells. So this one has to be an elbow of some kind. Which means, is there any way? Yeah, I could elbow like this. It's fine. This one could be a straight line. And it might, in fact, be a straight line, but we'll see. Now, the 6s, how am I going to make these work? 3. I can also make the 3 like this. No. This can't be the 3 because we're going to have a problem with this square. This can't be the 3. So if this is a light cell, these are both dark cells. That's what we know. But it seems like that's not going to be the case because then, yeah, this is a light cell, those are dark cells. And we're in trouble. So that's a dark cell, no matter what. If we bring this over 1 to here, there's a problem with this dark cell. If we bring it down, that's fine. This is a doable thing, so that elbow shape is acceptable. Now, if I had this as a dark cell, this is possible. So it seems like these are my options, which means this is a light cell on the bottom. Hold on, this is a light cell here. It will have to get out. I should probably have known this one anyway, actually, because this. I keep looking over here instead of right at this dark cell, which has to escape because dark regions have area 2. And those have to be dark regions because we can't have the 3s get overloaded. Now, this can't be the 3. So, it's either here. No, this would cause a problem. So, this is how this first 3 is set up. Now, we don't want to overload this 6. No, it wouldn't overload the 6 to be here. It would, because we would have a problem there. So this is in fact dark. This would overload the 6, so we're going to finish that off here. 6 has to escape. Now this would overload the 6 here, so we're going to bring it up. Alrighty. How about over here? This seems to be fine. Oh. But also, this seems to be fine. Any world where this is a dark cell? Oops. If this is a dark cell, yeah, it overloads. So that's got to be a light cell. It's got to be one of these two, so that's also a light cell. How about down here? this has to connect to this light cell, the 6 down here, because there's no way it doesn't. So that's going to finish off this section down here. Now this 6 has to connect to this light cell, which means it doesn't connect here. No, it's possible it connects like that. If this is a dark cell, then yeah, we would have this connection here. But if this is a dark cell, we have to have a light cell there. Which means we'd have to have dark cells here, and we're stuck. So, this is a light cell, no matter what. Can this be a light cell too? I think so. If this were a light cell, we would have... I think we get stuck there, so I think we do in fact have a dark cell here. I think that is now solved for us. So to make this 6 work, what are we going to connect it to? Can't connect it over there. We can connect it to that. Probably not going to connect to here, because the only ways to do so, block this off or block this up, make a section of 1 that needs to have a dark cell. So it's not going to connect to here at all. So we're probably going to connect it in this fashion, like so. That's a cool one. Alright, I keep going for just a bit. Which ones of these am I going to do? I'm going to do this 3-star puzzle here. Okay. Dark regions of area 4, and that's all we get. Okay. So I need to be able to get something at this. The 2s are going to be interesting. If I were to have a 2 here, bring the light cell, we would have a problem. So this has to be a dark cell. If I bring this up, it also is a problem, making this a dark cell, making this a light cell, because otherwise you'd have an area of 5. That is now a dark cell. This light cell would overflow the dark cells, so that is also a dark cell. This light cell would not be fine. Putting a dark cell here would force all of that, which seems fine so far. Right? So far, so good. In fact, so far, so very good. Look at that. I don't know if this is right, but it feels right, and that's the most important part. What would I connect here? Would I connect with our guy like so? I'm just guessing. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be acting this way. Yeah, I've guessed wrong. Because now I don't know where to go back to. I've gone so far into the guessing land that it's not really good. I went all the way to here just like, what if I did this? It didn't lead me anywhere. So none of this seems to be a problem. What if I bring this down? That's going to force a lot of things. Ah, we have a problem. So I know we also have to bring this like so. This is how the 2 is going to work. Now, if this were a light cell, it'd be one thing. But let's say this is a... Oh, this can't be a dark cell. We'd overload that. That does have to be a light cell. Means it does make this happen. Okay, so we were right about this so far. Okay, so this in fact was correct. Now, I mean, it really feels like the 9 should be a square in here, but we don't have to do that. That has to be light cell because we can't connect these to each other. But we could... Oh. Yeah, there's no way this is a light cell. So that is in fact a dark cell. Is there a way this is a light cell? No. So we were right about this. So my guess was all good up to here. Now the question is, how do we do this? If I make this... I don't know. I was saying, could I make it not connect here? But I don't know about that. The 8. Maybe this doesn't connect. Like, what if I don't connect this? And I connect like so. Okay, we're still guessing. We're still in guessy land. But it works. Okay, we'll take it. How about this 1-star puzzle? Let's do a 1-star puzzle real quick. Oh dear. No dominoes means whatever color... Oh no, if this was dark, for instance, I could do that. But if this is light, we have to go there. Connect all light cells. Alright, what do we grab? This is only 1 star, so there must be something about this. If we have light, this is what we have to do. We'd have to connect all light cells like so. Means that would be dark. And this would put a dark cell there. This would put a dark cell there. Connect all light cells. This... if this is light... This is dark, that'd be light. If this is light, this would be dark. Just making these assumptions here. This gotta be dark. I don't know what I'm doing here. This would have to be light. Is this just going to work out? It's just going to work out. We'll take it. Alright, 2 stars. We'll save 4-star for last. How's that sound? So myopia arrows means we have to block these passages off, like so. No dead end and no branching paths. We want to make a single loop with dark cells. We also need to mark these so that the myopia arrows are complete. Same with these ones, because otherwise there's no dark cell at all. Here, not so much. Here, not so much, but the ones on the edge do have to be marked, which means we have to bring the loop through here. And we have to bring through here, as well as this. Okay, it doesn't mean we have to bring them, loop them here. We could loop them elsewhere. This has to loop, so we're good there. This will have to loop around, meaning this will. One of these two, so no matter what, it's going to loop around here. There's no way out of that. This is forced, which means this is also forced. Since this can't go here, and that can't go there. Basically settling for this. Okay. Next, we have to bring something around this loop as well. This loop and that one. So I think this is our loop. And we're done. That was actually rather simple for a 2-star puzzle. Okay, here's the granddaddy of them all. Here's the 4-star puzzle. Darts count opposite color cells in that direction. Oh boy. Is there any way without this? Yes. Is there any way without this one? Yes. How about this? Can I make 5? Yes, I can make 5. Okay, how about this one? Can I make 5? 4. Now, if I made this here, we would be forced to do so. I'm just guessing because this is a nice 4 long and it finishes off the set here. What this is going to do with the rest is a little less certain. We would have to do these cells and we'd be done. So that means this has to be light and these are dark. And now either both of these two or just this one is dark. We're not totally sure. This is solved up here. Let's see. 2. I'm not sure which of these. This, if I made this piece here, 2, 3, I would have to do both of these. Let's actually look at this. These are all doubles, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 on this row, meaning that does have to be a dark cell right here. So I've got 3 cells here. I need 2 more. So either this piece or 2 of those pieces. Not sure. But one of these is going to be set for the 3. Now for this 5, still not sure. Need a 3 piece here, a 3 piece here. Need 4. One of these 2 is set, which gives 2 from this 4. But only one of these 2 can be set, which means both of these need to be dark to make this 4 pan out, which means this 3 is already complete. And we've solved this set. We need this one to be dark. And that. That was actually not too bad at all. Is that everything in this area? Got all those stupid underclued grids done? Yeah, I think so. Well, this was a good little romp. But I have to go feed my walrus, so I'm going to take a quick break and record another episode later. Thanks for watching. I've been Key of W. You've been, I don't know, whoever you are. See you around. Bye.